Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm riding this again, yes, the KTM 390 Adventure. The last time I rode it, it was for a very short duration. I really didn't get a good impression of this motorcycle. But today I'm just going to go for a free ride to tell you how is this machine. Now we have been off-roading it here at Motorbeam. So yes, it's a bit on the dirty side, but it looks as much purposeful as an adventure motorcycle should because it gets its design language from the 790 Adventure, that's right. But for India, it's an all new design for us. Of course, the headlight comes from the 390 Duke. So it's an all LED unit, it's a beautiful unit. This bike gets all LEDs as well. Metzeler, dual purpose tires, it doesn't get spoke wheels, it gets alloy wheels, big size discs as well, WP Apex forks which are adjustable. From here of course, you get mudguard, rather sorry, that is not the mudguard, that is the handguard which was also there on other Duke motorcycles which I also had with my motorcycle which I bought, and I removed them and threw them away because I think they look ugly and they add to the weight. For weight reduction I actually removed it. I've also removed the exhaust, but then I've added weight because I put a side exhaust from the underbelly. This gets an upswept exhaust which kind of sounds a little meek for my liking. There's the crash guard, 390 badging, lot of plastic on this motorcycle, loaded with a lot of plastic. Says Adventure right there. Seat is very hard, it's so wide you feel very uncomfortable around your crotch area. And of course the pillion seat is also big in terms of size but very hard, stiff, OMG, that's what she said. Big grab rail at the rear. Of course you don't need a grab rail at the front, but the kind of performance this motorcycle has to dish out, you need grab rails at the front as well. I'm not kidding at all. And the tire size is obviously smaller than the regular KTM motorcycle, so it happens to be a 100 section at the front, a 130 section at the rear. The front tire size happens to be 19 incher, the rear tire size happens to be a 17 incher. And of course the motorcycle looks as purposeful as it should, but does it ride like that? Unfortunately no, it is not really an off-road focused motorcycle, it's more about touring. And I don't think you can see much, but this is a trademark of Bajaj Auto. All the lights look so similar, the RC series lights, the lights on of course the Adventure 390 and the Duke 390, well yeah, they could have differentiated it better. This is an absolute pain in your rear to clean the monoshock at the rear, and they've actually shifted the coolant from the front to the rear. That's happened because they didn't have much position up front, rather not much space up front, because now it has got a curved radiator with two fans as well. Now the switchgear is absolutely crazy on this motorcycle, lot of buttons here, and you've got adjustable levers too on both the sides for the brake as well as the clutch. The mirrors are useless kind of, I don't know why they are so, I don't understand why they keep moving. Okay, they're not tight right now, but you have a GPS mount here and a 12 volt charging socket as well, which clearly signifies that this is a touring motorcycle. You don't go off-road and mount a GPS, be like, oh, you know what, let's go to this off-road location. Now the tank size is bigger at 14.5 liters when compared to the Duke series, which kind of makes it practical, but fuel economy is kind of poor. You get around 23 to 25 kilometers per liter depending on your riding style. The handguard screw is kind of rusted now, thank you Mumbai rains, and the lockdown as well. The cluster is super duper loaded. It says ready to race. The cluster is so nice. It has this night mode as well, so where it turns black I have to actually put my hand completely. There it is switched to black. The white one looks better in the day, the black one looks better at night. Tilted lights, lot of electronic functions on this motorcycle, and the switchgear is really loaded. In fact, you know, you've got all this and more too. Okay, this is obviously for the light function, so a little different switchgear on the left side. No hazard light switch, which is disappointing. Doesn't even get a compass, which the Himalayan does. Let's not get Himalayan in the picture. So you can see the instrument cluster is actually quite nice. Let's browse through this infotainment system. Oh, I'm calling it an infotainment system because it has got so much information. This is a trip to, and you can actually get into various functions like motorcycle settings, trip data, and KTM My Ride, which is not working right now because we have not yet connected a phone, so it's got Bluetooth connectivity too. What a loaded instrument cluster. Let's do one thing, let's get inside trip data. There's trip 1, trip 2 and warning. I don't care about warning. Let's get into motorcycle, where you have the motorcycle traction control, ABS and quick shift plus quick shifter, yeah, that is also there. Really super duper awesome cluster. I love how this blinks when you are nearing the red line, which you will see when you're riding the motorcycle. And of course you've got a clock here as well. But how does the lights look? Lights actually look pretty cool, huh? I love the way, okay, they're not lighted up right now. You have to turn on the motorcycle. So let's do one thing. Let's turn on the motorcycle, rev it, and very nice sounding motorcycle, huh? Yeah, for a single cylinder sound is decent, but a little meek, could have been a little louder. See the vibes. Yeah, the mirror is vibrating right now, so vibrations could have been better contained. Okay, look at that. Yeah, the mirrors are vibrating. So in terms of vibrations, Yes, it could have been still better. They have improved a lot, without a doubt. They could have improved even further. I think let's start riding right away. Right now I realize that the Himalayan is just so much more comfortable on such roads. The suspension is on the stiffer side for this 390 Adventure, and the seat height is massive. I'm sitting so high up, it's absolutely crazy, and the handlebar is super duper wide as well. I'm just giving you an impression of how the 390 Adventure feels once you get out from the Himalayan and onto this motorcycle. It obviously feels lighter, this bike, and more nimble too. Performance is just in excess here, because look at the way it accelerates. Bonkers. First gear 58 or something, we'll talk about that later, but my goodness, it is just so much eager and absolutely bonkers. Yeah, there are vibes, there's buzziness on the pegs as well as on the handlebar. Seat not so much, but the seat is hard. My buds can already feel it, but because the instrument clusters, this thing, shift light indicator is programmed at 6000 rpm or so, it's continuously blinking. Compared to the Himalayan, this feels like an absolute different beast altogether. The engine is super duper advanced on this. This is a 373.2cc motor. It gets forged pistons and Nickel coating, diamond finger followers, you name it. This bike is just an excess of technology, even in third gear. Okay, some vibes because low end isn't the best, and there is the other adventure motorcycles, the Expulse, but my goodness, the performance is just so amazing. A lot of wind blast on this bike somehow, and you can feel that wind blast at all given moments, but changing directions no problem at all. It feels eager, it feels nimble. Oh my god, my feet is absolutely vibrating like crazy because of the amount of buzziness and the vibes present on the foot pegs. But hey, the motorcycle is very likable. Firstly, I love the riding position because you sit so high up, and this mirror is just in a mind of its own. It's just moving all over the place. I don't know what's with mirrors moving all over the place. So as I see it, this 390 Adventure is a tech fest, but more of a touring motorcycle. This is less of an off-road machine because of the stiff suspension. Now obviously it gets WP Apex suspension, which means that it is adjustable if you have the right tools, that is. But my goodness, it is stiff, and that stiffness is something which will bother you over bad roads. But don't look at the 390 Adventure as an off-road motorcycle, or even an adventure motorcycle for that matter. Look at it as a more practical Duke 390, because the Duke 390 has an even stiffer ride quality. Braking performance is fantastic. Oh my god, what amazing brakes on this bike. Absolutely stops in no time at all, and that's thanks to the fact, let's downshift. It's got quick shifter plus for both upshift and downshift, and so much technology on this bike. Slipper clutch works beautifully well. Quick shifter is there. It's got cornering ABS, it's got traction control, ABS, I mean, you just name it. This is a tech fest of a motorcycle. Only if the mirrors do not move their position, it would be so much more amazing as well. Getting to 160 kilometers per hour on this bike, no problem at all, because it just doesn't let go. It redlines all the way to 10,500 RPM. Braking performance is super duper sure-footed as well, and the clutch just behaves so nice and light and well-weight too. Amazing. What a beautiful motorcycle. Now obviously it feels heavier than the Duke 390, but still very much agile when you compare it to the Royal Enfield Himalayan, and performance is absolutely bonkers. Well, don't take my word for it, see it for yourself. Here we are, air conditioning off, and off we go. No clutch, beautiful gearbox. Quick shifter works so well on this machine, and the gearbox is really responsive as well. The engine doesn't have much of a base as such, and yes, this motorcycle does have heating issue as well. When why does it heat up? Obviously very high compression of an engine, single cylinder DOHC, high-tech motor, but high compression really does heat up. But in order to curtail the heat, what they have done is they have given it a curved radiator with two fans. So it has got two fans, which tries to keep the heat in check, but it does heat up quite a lot in city traffic. This is a touring machine. This loves to be out on the highway, making a quick shift. Here we go, beautiful, and upshift no problem. Lovely feel from the bike. The front end feels heavy now. Actually, this suspension system is really well tuned for high-speed riding. Handling is also great. It likes to change lanes beautifully and remains composed on bad roads at higher speeds. But you know what, when you go on really bad roads at lower speed, really bad roads on lower speeds, I said loads I believe, it just doesn't feel as comfy or as, I would say, at ease because it kind of rattles you. Obviously the ride quality is so much better than the Duke, but still not up to adventure levels, unfortunately. What a gearbox, what an engine. Should have sounded better. Too much of treble, should have been more bassy. And although, okay, let's shut up. So fast driving lacks a low end. Mid range is good, but it comes later around 7000 rpm, and top end is absolutely frantic. But somehow it misses the soul of the first generation Duke 390 because it's got a bit mellow, a bit soft, if I may. It doesn't have the same roughness or ruggedness of the old Duke. The old Duke just felt so, I would say, mad and bonkers perhaps. Well, probably yes. Seat height is going to be an issue for everybody. No matter how fast this motorcycle might be, the fastest motorcycle on earth is this one, the Pulsar 220F, the fastest Indian. They think I'm talking to them, I'm not actually, but he's actually wearing a jacket with KTM logos on the side. That's kind of cool, and off we go. So the seat height of this motorcycle is an obnoxious 855mm. It is so high, unless and until you're a gorilla like me, you are going to be very uncomfortable on this motorcycle, and your feet, I mean, you won't be able to flat foot yourself, whatever you want to call it. But I can, because, yep, no problemo, into first gear, and off we go. I love the performance of KTM engines. They have nailed it with their engines. The price of this motorcycle is rupees 3.65 lakhs. Now obviously you would feel it is on the higher side, and it is, but you get your money's worth. It's still quite value for money because it gets so many electronics, a beautiful handling machine with a lot of stability and excellent capabilities too. This is a massively awesome motorcycle, but just do not expect it to go off-road as fluidly as the Himalayan, because this is more of a tourer, and as a tourer it is a fab machine. As an off-road motorcycle, well, not quite, because the tires, although you know dual purpose, are not as good off the road, and the suspension itself is on the stiffer side. Oh my god, what happened? Tree. So a lot of trees have fallen down here thanks to a thunderstorm which happened recently. I like this bike, I absolutely like it, but I still feel the suspension should have been even softer still. Yeah, that's right, even a softer suspension setup would be even better on this bike. Why so? Because the 390 Duke should get this suspension. The current suspension on the 390 Duke is also on the stiffer side. What a performance! You know, you forget everything about the bike as soon as you accelerate. That's how well it goes, and I give it a big thumbs up. The only thing is that I find it not really adventure, more of tourer, and in that sense it is a fab machine. So if you like this vlog, you know what you have to do. Give it the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye, take care.